Off the ball. This is News Talk.
Now, you're very welcome back. So the weekend just gone in the NFL has been described by lots of very seasoned observers as maybe the greatest weekend of NFL playoff action ever, of all time. It was pretty nuts. So this year's divisional round drew to a close in remarkable circumstances last night. The Chiefs overcame the Bills in a classic. Here is how Tony Romo and Jim Nantz called a dramatic final 2 minutes in Kansas City. Have a listen.
Allen fires it into wide open. Remarkable touchdown, Buffalo. Davis again. This is it just is impossible. A strike down the middle. It's Hill in the open. Cuts it upfield. He might be done. He is. Kansas City takes the lead with a minute to go from 64 incredible yards. Well, we talked about Josh Allen needed to make a huge play. This place is going crazy. And then all of a sudden you got Superman himself comes out. Could we possibly have 3 lead changes inside the last 2 minutes of a divisional playoff game? No way. No way? Maybe way. Down the middle to the end zone, and there it is! Touchdown number 4 on the night for Davis to send it to overtime. The kick is good! It's going to overtime! Oh my gosh, this is the most perfect quarterback play maybe ever. I mean, this is unbelievable back and forth. Looking to the end zone for the win! He caught it! Ball game! Chiefs to the championship game! This is just unfathomable. The Bills had won this game. It was over. Josh Allen with a perfect postseason. And Patrick Mahomes somehow comes out there and shows the world, I'm still here. Oh my gosh, one of the great games you'll ever see.
Yeah, Tony Romo and Jim Nantz there. That was the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes beating the Bills 42 points to 36. And really, it was pretty much like that right the way through the weekend. To try and make sense of it all, Tara Sullivan from the Boston Globe is with us. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm not overstating things here. People are saying this is the greatest weekend of its kind in NFL history.
Oh, you're not overstating it at all. Listen, there's always recency bias in sports, and we love to think of the latest thing we saw as the best. But I think the quality of all 4 games, the drama going down to the final play in each game, which is pretty unusual when you go back to the previous weekend when there were so many more blowouts, and you know how common those can be. I just think it's a very easy argument to make that this was the best week.
So good, I think your Wi-Fi has deserted us. Tara, you gone?
I'm here. Did I lose you?
Briefly, yeah. I think we lost you at the point of saying that basically all 4 games went down to the very last play, so kind of hard to beat that.
It is indeed. And I said a point I was making, if you look at the previous weekend when there were a lot of blowouts and games that weren't that close, it just reminds you, what the drama is like when the games are that close. And I think it just makes a very easy argument that this was the best weekend of playoff football that the NFL has ever given us.
We heard the commentary there of the Chiefs beating the Bills. That was 42-36. Tom Brady had an extraordinary evening. The Bucs, the champions, they were down, they were out, it was over. And then Brady does what he does and stages this miraculous comeback and gets back level. And then ultimately they lose with the last play of the game. And then Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, they were beaten by the 49ers. Again, a last-second field goal. And the Cincinnati Bengals, they had a first playoff win in 31 years last weekend, and they beat the AFC number 1 seed Tennessee Titans. So this is all what's going on in the space of 2 days. Where do you want to jump in here? Which one of these caught you the most?
Well, I think last night's, because it was the finale, because it was such a crazy final 2 minutes. I mean, that game last night is unlike anything I've ever seen. I was emailing with the former NFL executive who I know, who's in his 80s now, and he was a long ago general manager of the Patriots, and he even said that was the best game he ever watched. And I just think because of Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, how you just know that we're probably in for many more of these battles from them. They're young. They're unbelievably talented. It just, it felt not only in the moment like one of the best games, but it had me thinking, oh my gosh, we could be getting this for years to come. So for me, I was most excited by that final one just because of the level of drama and play across those final few minutes in overtime.
Patrick Mahomes is a name we're all very familiar with, and they are gunning for 3 Super Bowl appearances in a row now. The Chiefs. Josh Allen, the Buffalo quarterback, may be less of a household name for the more casual fans. He seemed to put in an exceptional performance. So people are saying in Patrick Mahomes and now in Josh Allen, we could have like the Tom Brady, Peyton Manning of the 20s.
And it's such a great comparison in many ways, although I think it almost does a little disservice. Like you mentioned the Bengals, right? They have a second-year quarterback in Joe Burrow, who seems to be emerging as, a similarly great young quarterback. And there are others, but I don't know. Mahomes is definitely the king of the mountain. Like he's more the Brady type. I know he only has 1 Super Bowl so far, but he's the guy that's at the top of the hill. And I was watching ESPN here this morning, and one of the commentators likened him to kind of the Michael Jordan of the group, that there were so many great NBA players in the Michael Jordan era who were unable to win a championship, right? Because Jordan kept blocking the way. So right now, Mahomes has that chance. Not only is he, maybe in line for a 3rd straight Super Bowl, this thing that the Chiefs are doing now, they're going to host this conference championship game next Sunday for the 4th consecutive year. They're going to host it. That's never happened before in the NFL. So Mahomes is really a class above right now. But Josh Allen, I mean, he blew the doors off of this playoffs, not only doing what he did to New England. I mean, I was at that game when he just destroyed New England. They didn't have to punt. They didn't have to. I mean, he was incredible. And it certainly wasn't his fault that they lost, that the Bills lost last night. So they could be the next Manning Brady, and how great would that be? Because it certainly was fun watching those guys battle. Yeah,
he threw 7 touchdowns against the Patriots, Josh Allen. If Mahomes is slightly apart from the rest, what sets Mahomes apart from the rest for you?
Well, I mean, you start with the talent, right? He has this absurd throwing motion ability, accuracy, athleticism like he has. And then obviously he can run with the ball as well. He can escape the pocket. You see these crazy sidearm throws, and maybe, he has this great baseball background for fans who might not have read about that. His father was a professional baseball player, so he kind of has his own way of throwing the football that clearly really works. He has the resume of a winner. He's won one already. He's incredibly calm in stressful times. The Chiefs had a weird season. There were many points earlier this year that it was easy to kind of count them out. That Mahomes was stuck at the end of games saying, I didn't do anything for us today. Our defense won us the game. But he never kind of loses that run of himself. And he's just an incredible leader and an incredible quarterback. And I just think his sort of acrobatics and athleticism really do set him apart.
Okay. Let's talk the Rams then, the LA Rams, who beat the defending champions Tom Brady and the Bucs. Matt Gay converted a 30-yard field goal as time expired, and so it was a very dramatic win for the Rams. You can expand on this, but in short, Rams got off to a brilliant start. They were way ahead. Yeah. Tom Brady was looking like a 44-year-old should look, and then second half he looks like the evergreen Tom Brady looks, and launched an amazing comeback and did draw level, only to lose it with the last kick of the game. So this kind of has everything going on.
It does indeed. And, Brady, Rodgers the night before, but Brady in particular is just, he's such a magnet for so much of our curiosity. And, you're taken by in amazement what he does. I hope I'm back. How are you?
You are. Great. So you were in the process of talking about how Brady is just a magnet for this kind of drama.
Yes, and what I was just saying is that as dramatic as it was, and because he's just such a central figure in the NFL, we're still talking about him all day today because, there's a lot of little leaking stories, whatever, that is he actually really considering retirement this time around? And not that he addressed it in any specificity after the game, but he didn't say no either. He said he has to think about things. And I don't know, it does have, again, it could be just because it's the moments after the game, but it does feel like it's a possibility this time around, which would be a monumental NFL story the day that guy's career comes to an end.
Yeah. There's nothing in his performances which suggest he should retire.
No, I would. Well, there are times, like you said, the first half, I'm sure that there are times this season where he's taking hits, or even seeing him get frustrated. I don't know if you saw he drew his first unsportsmanlike conduct penalty of his career yesterday. And this season was strange. The Antonio Brown, things like some of that drama. It makes me wonder if he's still kind of the off the field stuff, if he still wants to deal with a lot of that. But from a quarterbacking perspective, no, I don't. To me, if he were to choose to keep playing, he's certainly still playing at a very, very high level.
Yeah, played in all 17 games, led the NFL in passing yards with a career high 5,316 through 43 touchdown passes. So he's hanging in there. He's
crazy.
Hanging in there.
Yeah, he's hanging in there. But it's interesting because the Bucs will have a lot of salary cap issues. It's not like from last year to this, they were kind of able to keep the same team, and it was a very seamless kind of let's try to do this again, right? But it won't quite be that simple for next year. So I do think he has a lot to think about this offseason.
The last time the world at large was thinking about Aaron Rodgers, he was holding court on vaccinations and COVID. So disappointing end to his season, beaten by the 49ers 13 points to 10. He's now 0-4 against the 49ers in playoffs across his career. Did I see Rodgers say that he does not want to be part of a rebuild if he's going to keep playing? So is he out of here?
It's a great question. He did say that, and I think it was even in terms of staying in Green Bay, if they have to kind of start from scratch, if there's a lot going on, or where else he could end up. I mean, listen, that guy's an enigma to me. I cannot figure out Aaron Rodgers at all. I don't know if he loves football as much as he says he does. I really just have a hard time figuring that guy out. But I do think it would be quite a disappointment for him to finish his career with only one Super Bowl, because from a talent perspective, he throws the ball as good or better than anybody we've seen of his generation. And he has had some great players around him over the years, maybe not enough of them. I don't know, but he's come up small in big situations, like losing at home in his first playoff game with the number one seed in the conference, which is what happened yesterday. Or 2 days ago. I don't know. If Aaron Rodgers is done, I think he'll be in the Hall of Fame in an eye blink, but I do think there would be some disappointment to his career not having won another Super Bowl.
Yeah, his record in the playoffs, to be frank about it, is poor, and that will always be thrown at him.
Absolutely, and it's a record with the pressure on. Like, it's not, Eli Manning got in the playoffs twice, was an underdog, and went on these great runs. So, you kind of see it in that fashion, like it's a great playoff record. But Aaron Rodgers, to me, and it made me think a lot about Brady and what the Patriots and Belichick did all those years, because they always had the bullseye on their back. Really, after that first Super Bowl, when they sort of came from nowhere, they were always the hunted from that point forward, and they handled that really well. And I think there's something to that we see. It's really not that easy. Both number one seeds lost over the weekend, but at least in the case of Tennessee, there's not a lot of history there as being in that position. Aaron Rodgers has been in that position for the latter half of his career and did win a Super Bowl, and yet, to me, just didn't play well. He didn't play well, particularly poorly in the second half. He really zeroed in on one receiver, and it cost him a lot in the end. And he just didn't play well. And I think it's fair. I think he absolutely should be in the Hall of Fame, and he's one of the greatest throwers we've ever seen. But I can't help just feeling he should have won more. He should have won more Super Bowls.
Okay, Tara, we'll leave it there. Thanks, Emil.
Thank you.
Cheers. Tara Sullivan there from the Boston Globe. So this weekend coming, 30th of January, the Sunday, has big shoes to fill. The AFC Championship game, Bengals away to the Chiefs, is 8 o'clock Irish time. And then the NFC game, Rams have the 49ers. That's a 11:30 kickoff on Sunday. So I suspect we're talking about that next week.